Hi everyone, really excited to announce a bit of development we've just launched with our friends over at Standard Life, bringing to life their guaranteed lifetime income solution, their GLI solution, into the heart of FE CashCalc. And users of FE CashCalc can now alter and adjust their cash flow and see what life would look like for their clients if they were to bring in a guaranteed income solution with Standard Life, and also a nice little extra touch to see what life would look like if you were to also utilize the Standard Life Smooth Fund as well. So we're going to just quickly run through what this looks like and how to use it. Welcome to the world of Daniel Holland. This is a dummy client of ours. He's on a fairly traditional drawdown route here. He's got a fairly big pension pot and he's just drawing down every month from that pot. And as you can see, he runs out of assets by the time he's about 95. And if he were to live to that ripe old age of 100, he's 113K in the red. Now, how has this been set up? Well, quite simply, we had the savings pot, 600,000. We're expecting a linear growth rate of about 5% a year on aggregate over the long term. And then also there's that expense to cover the essential costs that he needs. He needs this pot to achieve £2,000 a month income for him to cover those essential costs in retirement. And that's what creates this cash flow model. Now, I want to make adjustments to this cash flow and start adding and baking in GLI and smooth funds to see what that looks like against the original. So I don't want to change the original. I want to create a duplicate to then allow me to compare it. So if I click on clone forecast at the very top here, and I can just simply call this new forecast with GLI and smooth fund. I'm going to clone from an existing forecast. There's only one forecast, and that's current pension strategy. And if I click on create, it does exactly that. It just creates a duplicate. So I've got my current pension strategy, which is what we were just looking at, and now my with GLI and smooth fund. And now I can start altering this one and allow me to compare it to the original. So how do I add GLI into this? Well, if I click on contributions withdrawals, there's a nice little pop-up at the very top here to explain what GLI is and little links that will then send you to the Standard Life pages. But if I click on Quick Add, click on Guaranteed Income in Drawdown, I can select Guaranteed Lifetime Income with Standard Life and click on Continue. It gives me this nice little quote page. It's fairly self-explanatory. I can say, look, I want this client to purchase GLI at retirement at 66. I want him to use the balanced pension for that purchase, and we expect that to be worth about 607 by retirement. I can either opt to say how much income is required or how much of that premium I want to invest. Well, I know how much income is required. It's 24,000. It's £2,000 a year, so we can just pop that in there. And equally, I can add in value protection into this quote as well, basically a death benefit. I'm not going to opt to have that on this particular quote. Now, usually the postcode would pull through. For most clients on CashCalc, you'll have the postcode already embedded somewhere in the system, so that will pull through here. State of health, smoker, good and no. And if I click on Get Indicative Quote, what it's simply doing is taking all of that information, sending it across to Standard Life. They're doing all the clever number crunching. They come up with an indicative quote that they then push back into CashCalc, and hey presto, there it is. And it's basically saying, look, if the client wants to guarantee that level of income, it's going to cost them 323,000, pretty much half the pot, and the half the pot remaining is about 304,000. And then I can decide what to do with that remaining pot, because as it stands, the 304,000 is just going to be simply left in that balanced portfolio growing at 5%. But actually, Standard Life have the smooth fund available to you. So what you can opt to do is put some, if not all of that pot into the smooth fund, and the smooth fund is projected to grow at about 6.34% over the years, and there is an AMC of 0.8 that will be added to that, which we'll show you in a couple of moments. But for this particular example, we're going to split the pot further 50-50 and say, look, I want to put 50% into my smooth fund or Standard Life smooth fund and 50% remaining in that pension pot. And I could be using that strategy to maybe counter sequencing risk. We'll use those first initial years of drawdown and we'll be taking it from the smooth fund, and then what's left will be the pension balanced portfolio. Now, if I want to know any more information about GLI or SMF, you can just click on these tabs here. That will tell me more information about guaranteed lifetime income, and that will tell me more about the smooth fund. That will just direct me to the pages at Standard Life. Now, if I want Standard Life to actually reach out to me and contact me and tell me more information about this, I can click on request contact. My email address and my phone number pops up. I can say which contact preference I prefer. Click on send request and Standard Life will be in contact in due course. Now, I don't want that for now. I can just simply click on continue. And what that does, it takes all the information that Standard Life has given us. It takes all the extra bits of information you've just added there in terms of the smooth fund, and it's added a load of line items instantly within a matter of seconds. So you can see we're currently on the contributions and withdrawals tab. It's given me 3 new line items. It's telling me what's happened. So it's 152,000 is going to be taken from my balanced pension, and 152,000 is going to be contributed into the smooth fund. That's done that for me. And equally, there's £24,000 every year coming in from this GLI solution that we've just purchased, and that's coming from an external source. Now, equally, what's changed are the savings pots. So whereas before I only had one savings pot, my balanced pension, I've now got two, because we've now got the smoothed fund growing at 6.34%. Now, clearly it's zero because we haven't purchased GLI yet. That's coming in a couple of years. So we'll see that on the cash flow in a few minutes. And under charges and fees, we've also taken into account that 0.8. So yes, the smooth fund is growing at 6.34. There's going to be a 0.8 charge on top of that. So we've added that for you to make sure the growth rate is accurate. And equally, we've purchased GLI, so that's coming in here. We've put that under charges and fees. So you've purchased GLI, and that's costing 323 to buy that guaranteed income. Now, what does that do to my cash flow? If we come down to cash flow image, you can see it's changed it quite considerably. So you can see the kind of the pension pot halving on that retirement age, and then it halves again because we've got half in the balanced pension that we had, but also half in that smooth fund, and we're going to be drawing from that smooth fund initially. And once that's exhausted, we've got a fairly large balanced pension that's been growing behind the scenes, and then we can start drawing down from that up until a ripe old age of 100, and the client's now got actually 112 positive as opposed to a negative value. Now we can opt to change the order around. So at the moment, I'm going to be drawing down from the smooth fund first and then moving to the balanced pension. But actually, the smooth fund looks like it's probably going to be growing at a higher, or likely to grow at a higher value than that balanced pension. So if I click on the savings pots at the very top here, I can alter where we draw that money from. So at the moment, smooth fund first, then balanced pension. I could just simply alter the order. You can see the headline numbers under here change. And if I go down to my cash flow model, you can see all of that updating for me. So now all of a sudden it's got significantly better. We're at 174,000 now when the client reaches 100. And even if they were to reach a ripe old age of 90, there's a significantly large pot, a larger pot than what we had before for conversation around inheritance. So not only is that pot going to easily cover my essential spend or my client's essential spend, it's also going to provide for friends and family once that client passes away. Now, the most important thing is to compare that against what we had initially. So if we click on compare forecast at the very top here, you can see the before and after. Look, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we've evaluated, we've researched different strategies. The current strategy we had was that traditional drawdown route where we were just going to draw £2,000 a month and we were going to run out of assets by the time we were 95, 100. That's obviously quite a big problem. So what's the solution? Well, we've decided that the solution could be that we start utilizing guaranteed income. We plumb that in. We also plumb in the smooth fund as well, which has got a really significantly good growth rate, and using kind of those three different solutions and kind of blending them together in kind of a hybrid fashion, it gives us a much better outcome. And as I said, it therefore covers those essential spend and then some. So that's how we've kind of embedded the GLI solution and the smooth fund within CashCalc. Hopefully you find that really useful. Really excited to see how advisors use that with clients and how you introduce that into these conversations. As ever, any questions about this, feel free to reach out to our help desk. But clearly, given this is GLI and smooth fund, feel free to reach out to our friends at Standard Life with any further questions as well. Thanks very much for watching.